Hi. So my film is called You and Me Sang the Cemetery. It's based off a haiku by Jack Kerouac. You and me, I sang, looking at the cemetery. When I was going through all of these Jack Kerouac haikus, this is the one that really stuck out to me as like this depth. Like there's this really deep story in this haiku, and there's like almost a million stories wrapped up in a lot of his haikus, actually. But this one was a little darker and less silly than most of them. We almost went the silly route, but I digress. This film is ultimately about subjectivity and how that can go from the myself and you to the us, to the like us versus them, to the all of us in our environment, the cemetery, essentially. So collaborating with Sheen, what did you see and what did you record? Well, I saw a whole table of Legos all over the place. My son and I had them all out. We had kind of talked several days about it, and we had this small table, and it had one side with one part of the battle and the other side with the other battle competition person group. And it was interesting because it was like a play. So it was like a stage. There was one stage over here that was happening in the beginning. And then there was another stage over here happening. And then they kind of meet together in the middle, right? They're all, or well, I guess this crew is coming over and they're attacking this side. The reason that I did that was sort of logistical, but also just made sense, right? So as the film is kind of unfolding in my brain, it like makes sense to have these things happen. It was like how we see it in theater. But also it was difficult to get that camera into different places. Also, the camera could see really up close, which is not something you ever see. What I saw, I kept seeing the whole context. But when I closed it up into this little itty bitty thing, I actually grew really frustrated because I wanted to see closer and more in depth. Sorry. So that was that. Time is a medium. How does the sequence of frames unfold in time? Well, obviously it's a minute, but a whole bunch of stuff happens. My God, a whole bunch of stuff happens. So obviously like a lot of content is occurring in a very short amount of time. And I think that because of the timing, you kind of set this pace in the beginning that says the time is kind of sped up, but the still images almost give it this pause that occurs. So I know that was really neat. And also like being able to at the same time emphasize where time is supposed to slow down. You need to see this part. You need to saturate in this instance of like dead Lego bodies everywhere. So that was a way to slow time down for me. How are you manipulating by the video medium? Well, I think I was able, the timing was really great. You'll see that it's really slower in the beginning and then something happens and then it's like intense. And then it's like, wait, what? And it's very slow again. So I thought that was really fun. And then the fog was really cool, right? Because if you would have not been there in the video space, the fog moving in a still image, we wouldn't have been able to see that. We also kind of, I also kind of did this like dual focus. So it's not video, but you'll see, I think in like two different places, it's focusing on different aspects of the space. And so it almost looks like movement. And then at the end, when all things have transformed, like all this has transpired, and that one character has this realization that it's not us versus them, like it's all of us in this battle, and like we're being manipulated by this outside force in the cemetery. You'll see that the panning of the bodies is different. That's a different technique. And it's kind of like a new awareness, a new way to see the world. Of course, he's all by himself at the end. That's what happens when you have awareness, right? That's so dark. So I hope this is a 3-minute one because the last one was 6 minutes. So I could talk about it for hours. It was so fun.